Hello everyone, thank you for joining this segment of GFA Attract, the segment that talks to different entrepreneurs from all around the world. So with me today we have Mr. Victor Boyle-Komolafe, and he works with GIVO, and GIVO is a tech-enabled circular economy solution that facilitates community-based collection and processing of locally sourced recyclables into consumer and industrial goods. Enjoy!
Okay, so Victor, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Victor Boyle-Komolafe, the full name. I am, of course, Nigerian, and I am the co-founder of GIVO. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for a few years, but before I became an entrepreneur, I was a chartered accountant in my former life. And so I worked in the industry for a while in KPMG, and then after a while, I decided to do other more profitable things with my time, which is what led me on to technology and agriculture and a few different things that I do.
Okay, interesting. So can you tell me a little bit about GIVO? Is that?
Yeah, people have different translations. GIVO, GIVO, call it what you want to call it. So the full meaning of GIVO is garbage in, value out. So it's a kind of a cool name, right?
Great. You said garbage in and
value out.
Okay, garbage in, value out. That's interesting. Okay, go ahead.
So that took us like 2 weeks to get the name. The idea really is in the name. Again, it's a tech-enabled circular economy solution that tries to facilitate the local collection and processing of recyclable materials, and of course in a community, and making those materials into new products, right, within the same community. So, we've been working on this for about the best part of 2 years, but in response to COVID, we started making face shields and face masks from the recyclables we collect, which was just like as a way to show people what can be done, because when you speak about the circular economy, people don't really understand the concept. So yes, GIVO is a circular economy company, not a recycling company, a circular economy company.
Okay, so GIVO is a circular company, not a recycling company. Got it. And what happened for you to get from working with KPMG to starting your own firm? How did that come about?
That was actually quite. It was kind of studying and improv too. I think it was in 2016. I had an opportunity to visit Silicon Valley as a part of a program by the United States, by the US Department of State. And so at that time, I was already, I had started my small business on the side called Ojoro Kitchen. So what we do with that business is we take produce from smallholder farmers and we make it into spices, right? So again, that is also a social enterprise, and that was really focusing on solving the post-harvest waste losses. Right, so I can speak about this for days. Anyway, so that was really how I started the entrepreneurship journey. I took a random road trip to the north sometime when I just moved back to Nigeria, and that was really the first time I saw the problems in agriculture. And so seeing those problems, and of course working in a place like KPMG where you get exposed to some resources and some data, the opportunities. For me, it was a no-brainer, and so when I got invited to this program that I wasn't allowed to go for by KPMG because I needed to go for a while, I decided to hand in my letter, and so the rest is history. So I didn't have any grand plan, to be honest. I just wanted to go to California for 4 weeks.
Okay, right. Interesting. Can you tell me about I want to say recycling industry, but I don't think that would be correct. The circular value industry in specifically Africa. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, you're doing well. You're doing well. So yeah, the recycling industry, and let's call it recycling now, right? Because that is really where we are. Basically, what the circular economy is, of course, is the opposite of what the linear economy is. The linear economy is what we have right now. So we take materials, we make things, and we dispose it, right? And the circular economy is like now, why don't we find ways to reuse things, to reduce, and to basically eliminate waste, right? And so yes, GIVO, again, circular economy in Africa is again all over the world is still pretty. It's still at its initial stages, but the hope with GIVO is that for Africa we can move. Again, the circular economy has destroyed most of the West, and in Africa we're still building, and so we can kind of escape the linear economy and move straight to the circular economy. So yes, right now in Africa it's still at its initial phases, and but it's again this is a priority all over the world, and yeah, in Africa we expect that the circular economy concept will start to pick up pretty soon.
Okay, and your slogan, what is your slogan for GIVO?
Yeah, so our slogan for GIVO is for the people, for the planet. But more importantly, our we have our mission and vision, which is really to make recycling convenient, rewarding, and sustainable, right? And so this is where any tagline or anything we do, and this governs everything we do, right? Because of course in our model we provide incentives for people to participate. Again, that's very important for us because it has to be rewarding. And of course, a big part of our model, which is why we have these centers, franchisee centers in different communities, is to make it convenient. We also want to encourage participation from everyone, and the important thing is again to make it sustainable, right? So if you have a sustainable business, especially in the land we're working in, then the planet is going to be better off for it. There's going to be less waste in the landfills and the dump sites and the waterways. And of course, if the planet is better for it, then ultimately, I guess it benefits. So really, it's everything is interlinked when it comes to the circular economy, and for us especially, we want to make sure that we make things convenient, rewarding, and sustainable above everything.
Okay, so is it safe to say that you guys are trying to save the world? Can you hear me?
That's a tough one. Well, let's not say save the world. Right now, we're trying to save sub-Saharan Africa. How about that, right? So that's the process right now. In a few years, you can ask me this question again.
Okay. And what is needed for the circular economy to grow in Africa? I mean, from where I live, I don't think that I've heard the circular economy concept. And it's very interesting to hear that it is happening in Nigeria. So what needs to happen for the circular economy to spread?
I think that's a very good question. So I think the 3 or 4 major things I would point to are, I guess first of all, an enabling environment, right? So in some other countries where this is more prevalent, so I mean some parts of Europe especially, and maybe some parts of Asia. But again, where this is more prevalent, you see that there's government intervention in there. So, for example, I keep talking about this, right? We need a stick and carrot approach to this, right? So, I mean, the carrot are the incentives that we give, So, yes, those can be better, but that's a good carrot, right? But the stick is the laws, right? So there's no laws governing these things. This is why, again, wherever you are, wherever we are, people are comfortable throwing things away because nothing happens, right? So yes, this is something again government intervention can do, and of course an enabling environment to help business transition into this, because it's actually been studies have shown that more sustainable businesses are better in the long run, right? So again, in terms of employee satisfaction, in terms of revenue, in terms of all these things. So even for businesses that want to transition into the circular economy or have this concept imbibed in their operations, right? Sometimes the cost is heavy, and providing an enabling environment for this would help. The other thing I would mention are education and advocacy, right? I think that is, what the biggest alongside the government together, really, because there's still a lot of on education and miseducation about the problem, right? People don't understand that it's a priority. For example, I know firsthand because we've been working with the Lagos state government on this. I know that, for example, in Lagos, the dump sites are getting filled up soon, right? And this is a ticking time bomb. I know that 6 of the 50 largest dump sites in the world are in Nigeria, right? Again, I know these things out there, right? And I know that in Nigeria, we consume maybe 10 billion bottles of plastic bottles every year, right? And 95% of that ends up in the landfills and waterways. So, when there's a proper education about the problems and the consequences, and of course, educating people on what to do, I feel that this concept might pick up a bit more, because again, that is what's happened, in other civilized countries where you understand your carbon emissions and how everything works together. And finally, last but not least, it's really about collaboration. So again, collaborating to execute projects, but also collaborating to spread the word. So I'm sure there are people that probably haven't heard so much about the circular economy until they listen to this and they hear about it, right? So yeah, collaboration this can come in diverse forms, but we need to push the word out there more and find long-lasting solutions to this problem, because it affects everybody.
I have a question related to the consequences. You mentioned about the consequences of not paying attention to circular economy. What are the consequences of the circular economy not getting enough funding, for example?
Oh yeah, that's again. There's a few I could mention off the top of my head. So I mean, of course, if people don't dispose waste properly, right, especially recyclable waste, it ends up in landfills and waterways. And so I'm talking about, for example, in the streets, right? And so when it's rainy season and the streets start flooding, right? It's not really. I mean, that didn't just happen. It's because people did not take the circular economy concepts into practice. When you have again, like I mentioned in Lagos, right? The landfills are filling up, right? And that's because for decades on decades and decades, materials that could have been recycled and repurposed into things have just been left, right? And so again, that is decades of not following the circular economy principles. For example, something that we did, and again, this is one of the things that excites me most about what we do. We made face shields and face masks in response to COVID. I think I have some somewhere close. I might bring it later on. It's pretty cool. But what we're able to show again is even the manufacturing sector, right? Again, in Nigeria, 95% of the PPE, personal protective equipment in Africa is imported. right? So, and of course, the raw material for these things, which is mostly plastic, right, is the thing that we toss around. And so, what we've done, again, with GIVO, by making PPE, is show that, again, because we're not even using these circular economy principles, the manufacturing sector is not able to produce as much as it can be. Because again, these materials can be inputs for manufacturing. And of course, Nigeria, with our again, with our massive unemployment numbers, over 30%, the manufacturing sector does not contribute significantly to those. And so, yes, when you ask what are the consequences, they're everywhere around us.
And I read here that GIVO relies on a network of women and youth-owned franchises. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Another cool thing about what we try to do. Yeah. So again, we're a technology company. I might say that again before the conversation is over.
Right.
I get carried away with so many other things. But yes, we're a technology company, and so from inception, what we tried to do was figure out on how to create a solution that is scalable, right? And not just scalable and impactful. So at the beginning, from the inception, it was literally about building something around the SDGs. So it wasn't like we built something and like, oh, how can the SDGs fit? Nah, it was the SDGs around what we're trying to do. And so this, the franchisee center is one of the really the unique points of what we do. Of course, as a technology company, and especially one with, of course, I mean, a lot of what we do is digitization with IoT, and of course, there's some AI and artificial intelligence and machine learning in there. So let me use the full terms. And in each of these centers, which are, like you said, are going to be run and owned and operated by youth and women. Each of these centers, we, as GIVO, we know what is going on in there because of our technology, right? And so the idea is, again, in each community, right, like the community you're in, the community I'm in, we have one of these centers. A center is about a 40-feet container that has been customized with our technology to collect and process recyclables, right? And so, again, in each community, one of these centers is there, and it acts as the collection point and as the hub to facilitate collection from all the people in the community, right? Now, once the collection is done, the materials come to this hub, and this is where, again, the materials get processed into other things. Now, the cool thing about the youth and women, part of it is, again, I just spoke about youth employment. It's something I'm very passionate about, especially because many times, it doesn't make sense. And through this, our franchising network, what we hope to do, I've been starting with Nigeria, is to create 20,000 new circular economy companies, right? Because that's what they are. Each of them is literally a new company that is being owned and run and managed by an individual. And of course, we are also going to be financing these centers. So of course, I mean, if we left it to the entrepreneurs, it might have been difficult for them to get the right capital to do it. So yes, we will fund the centers, we will install it, as long as they go through our training program and our very rigid checks. We would do all of that for them and support them in this process. And of course, each of the centers, last but not least, each of the centers can employ about 10 to 15 people per month. Each of the centers is powered by solar energy 100%. So again, it's upgrade. And yes, each of the centers has different combinations of software and hardware, and we expect that the output of each center would be 75% shredded material, so that's more industrial material that would be used by other industries, and 25% would be consumer goods, so like the face mask and the face shield and different things that can be used within that community, really.
Okay, my next question is about process digitization through the use of IoT technology. firstly, please explain what that is and what other ideas or opportunities in different sectors should use process digitization through the use of IoT technology.
I feel like this might be easier if I get my hardware. Can I get some hardware?
Yeah, go ahead.
Give me 30 seconds.
Okay.
Hello. Back again. So, just by the way, these are some of our face masks, right? Of course, with reusable filters, and we go that way, right? So yeah, these can be reusable. So we estimate that this is the equivalent of about 300 surgical masks, right? Because again, you can use this over and over again. And of course, these are our face shields. Yes, of course, made from recycled material. All of it is WHO standards and so on and so forth. Now, regarding the IoT, IoT is simply Internet of Things, right? And so that just speaks to how different devices communicate, right? Now, the reason why we use IoT in our processes, especially, is because, of course, in Africa and in all over the world, right, there's an issue with trust in data, right? And when you have machines or equipment give you the data rather than have individuals input the data, then the quality of data is so much higher, right? And for us as a technology company, well, I said it again, we are very, again, the data has to be perfect. And so this is really why we incorporate IoT in some of our things. So yeah, so these are some of our IoT related items. Again, just basic items, so scales, printers, Android devices, biometric devices, everything. Of course, I have shredders, I have injection machines, I have some bigger things also. But the common theme is everything works together wirelessly. There's no human intervention in the process, right? And that is really key from a data perspective, and especially for our franchisee network. The only way to have a good overview of everything going on is relying on the technology. I hope that answered the question.
Okay, let's move on to so this question is related to investment, and firstly, I am curious about what your source of funding was, and also I am curious about MVPs. What are MVPs? So yeah, let's start with the MVPs, and then we can go on to funding.
MVPs, yeah. So simply put, MVPs are minimum viable products, right? If I remember the term correctly. Yes, minimum viable product, and it's just really saying what version of the product can you go into market with that proves what your idea is about. Now, the importance of this can't be overestimated, especially for a technology company, right? For us, we started this journey in May 2019 through a program that was put together by Coca-Cola in Nigeria. So they invited about 10 organizations from all over Africa to this week-long workshop on this, right? And so again, it was eye-opening. That was the first time I was in a room speaking about anything waste management related. Before then, I didn't know anything, right? But we already knew what we could do. So in fact, I remember at the end of the program, we actually pitched what we wanted to do to the guys in there. And so from 2019, we knew clearly, right, what we wanted to do. We told people what we wanted to do, but people could not understand what we could do. Let's just put it that way, right? And so it's actually quite interesting that it's just in the last 3-4 months. I mean, what COVID did for us was COVID kind of made us come out to the open while we were like just working in the shadows for a long time. But again, yes, it's just in the last few months that people have started seeing what we have done. But for us, it's like we told you 2 years ago that we could do this, right? So yes, it's very important to have your MVP because again, it's like the proof is in the pudding, right? Without the proof, no matter how small it is, you can't really get the right investment that you're potentially looking for. And then the second question about investment. Yeah, that's a very good question. So far, to a large extent, we've been self-funded, right? I would say that we're lucky in the sense that, again, I hope I'm saying that we're a technology company. So we don't, a lot of technology we use is made in-house. Right, and so even when we were starting on GIVO, we didn't necessarily start from the scratch. We just modify some of our technology and add some models to create what GIVO is. So yes, luckily for us, it is self-funded, and that's because the technology company. However, some of the other external funding that we've received, we've gotten a few grants in our time. But I would say that if you're trying to create growth, you want something come out of you want some result of it, you have to throw your business around the SDGs to stand any chance of receiving such money. Yes, but yeah, we've been lucky to get them.
Okay, sorry, I had a problem with the network a little bit because you were in slow motion and then it was just okay. Anyway, I hope I'll be able to fix that when I'm editing this video. Okay, so the next question is about, okay, we talked about this, growing your business in Africa, and how do you think, actually, what is your plan for growth and expansion? Are you guys going to keep yourselves in Nigeria alone, or are you going to share with the rest of us down there? What's going to happen? What are your plans?
GIVO is part of we're part of a larger technology organization called Capture Solutions. Capture Solutions is a Pan-African business. So we have offices in Kenya, Ivory Coast, Rwanda. The headquarters is in England right now. But yes, we're a very Pan-African organization, and we also share resources among the different countries. And so, yes, although GIVO has started in Nigeria, right, for all intents and purposes, GIVO is not a Nigerian-only product, right? And so, when you ask me the question, if we're trying to save the world, I said that we're trying to save sub-Saharan Africa because, again, as Capture Solutions, our remit is really about again creating solutions in Africa. So yes, we have again a few other products that we do in agriculture, construction, education. So you could check us out at Capture Solutions, Capture Solutions for Africa, or CS for Africa. Yes, and Yeah, so in terms of expansion for GIVO, right now, again, we've always had a plan, like I said. COVID has pushed us forward a little bit in terms of publicity, but again, we've still stuck to the plan we have. To the end of the year, we're running out a few pilot tests. We have one GIVO center open right now. The second one is opening in September in Lekki Phase 1. And we might have a third one open before the end of the year. But again, the idea for these centers opening is really to have more centers open and to gather more data on our operations, right? And so yes, from now till about middle of next year, we're going to keep on opening a few GIVO centers across Lagos State, and those will mostly be for, again, I guess advanced piloting, right? Because by next year we're going to launch into market, but we're still going to be working in-house. But from the middle of next year, from about Q2, Q3, we plan to open our franchisee network up, right? And at that point, we would be able to, again, like we mentioned before, finance franchisee centers in communities. We need at least 20,000 centers to cover the whole Nigeria, and we've already been making plans for those. I mean, we're not going to do 20,000 centers next year, but we're going to really start off with a bang next year. So yes, the idea till middle of next year is we're going to be rolling out, especially in Lagos State. So you'll be seeing some of our activities. Definitely, we'll be all over the place. But by middle of next year is really when we plan to scale up rapidly from about 10 or 15 that we would have at the time to 100 and a few hundred by within the next three years.
Okay, right. And how do you unwind as an entrepreneur? I'm guessing that you have 9 to 12 kind of schedule and you work all the time. So when you have a moment to yourself, how do you unwind?
Ooh. When I have a moment to myself, that's a very tough question. Okay, I'll answer it two ways, right? First of all, I love what I do, right? And this is something that people around me find hard to believe, right? So many times when I'm working, maybe I don't know how to unwind. Maybe that's it, right? But I like what I do, so I do my working, right? I think for me, and this is something I've had all my life, I travel a lot, right? And it's something that I would never stop doing because I find a lot of my inspirations in my travel, right? And so even becoming an entrepreneur was one of my random travels to northern Nigeria, around the time I moved back here. So yes, I think for me, that is my guilty pleasure. I could work, and then travel and still work. But I mean, when I'm traveling in a different space, in a different mindset, it really helps me with my relaxation. So yeah, I travel a lot. That's it for me.
Mm-hmm. And what books are you reading right now? Do you read any books or?
Wow. I feel like embarrassed, and I can't lie here because I know some people that know me are going to look at it. I can't lie. So I'm sorry, people. I don't read books. I'm probably your friend who's going to give you a list of books to read. Okay, let's do this. So I'm a chartered accountant by training, right? Okay. And see, right now I'm in the circular economy in technology, right? For me to get here, I need it to happen a lot, right? And so while I don't necessarily read books or with all the different authors that you could tell me, I try to read up a lot on what is going on around me, right? What's going on in the industry? What's going on in my community? What's going on in my society, right? I read the news, I read articles, I read blogs because again, like I mentioned, right, before last year, May, I knew nothing about the waste management space, nothing about recycling, nothing about any of those. Before 4 years ago, I knew nothing about technology, right? So I'm able to continually adapt and change to different things that I find interesting. because I make sure I keep reading. I know I can actively say, and quote me on it, I know a little bit about every single thing. Well, okay, most of everything. And so that is what I like to do. I just read random things. No knowledge is lost. I just keep reading. But yeah, no books, unfortunately. Okay. And I read my Bible.
Okay, so your favorite books are the newspaper and the Bible. Noted. Let's go on to your favorite.
I wouldn't call that the favorite book. Yeah.
Let's move on to your favorite sport. Your favorite sport. What sports are you interested in?
Oh yeah. I played football, but I used to play football, and I had a bad knee. But I played. I would say semi-professionally. Well, I mean, so let me not sell that too much. I played for my universities. I played for maybe while I was in one of the junior camps. But yeah, football is sports I love to play and I watch. So on Saturdays. Okay. Also, this is how I relax. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mention this, by the way. So yeah, I'm one of those guys that you can't catch me outside when there's Premier League, right? So Saturdays and Sundays, there's no meeting. It's Premier League Saturday, guys. Like, this is my relaxing time. So yeah, that's me. I watch a lot of football.
And what advice do you have for Get Funded Africa? What is your final word for us and what we do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, for you guys are doing great things already, right? But just keep on doing it and keep on collaborating, right? Because I had a conversation. I keep having conversations with people, and everybody keeps on speaking about who your competitors are. But I find that is so that's so last decade, right? Like in the day and age we are, like the competition is collaboration, right? And there is so much we can conquer together. Like, we're not ready to compete in Africa. Like, there's too much to do. So yeah, you guys should keep on fostering collaboration, because for us to come forward, we need to keep on collaborating.
Okay, that's a wrap from us. Thank you so much for being on the segment. Goodbye, everyone. See you guys next week on our next show. Okay, I see that we've done like 56 minutes already. That's not.
How many minutes did you want?
I was hoping another 30, 40 minutes. It's almost an hour. We'll have an hour-long video on our channel.